Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. So, we were talking in a previous video about common opponents between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. And I'm mentioning Miguel Cotto in that mix. I did say that Miguel Cotto was weight drained, but I don't take anything away from Manny Pacquiao. And someone in commenting in the comments below took that to be a contradictory statement. And in light of what we were talking about in terms of sensational fighters and the better fighters based on the health and strength of common opponents, which version of the common opponent was better, I made that statement. However, let's go into detail about Miguel Cotto. The first question that has been posed is, was Miguel Cotto weight drained? And so, in order to show that I believe that was so, I'm going to pull up some information on Miguel Cotto. This is Miguel Cotto versus Zab Judah. This is Miguel Cotto versus Manny Pacquiao. This Miguel Cotto is 145 pounds on the scales. This Miguel Cotto is 147 pounds on the scale. This is Miguel Cotto versus Austin Trout. Comes into the fight against Austin Trout, I do believe 153 and I think it's a quarter to 3/4 pounds. I think it was 3/4 pounds. I'm going to show you from BoxRec the weights of Miguel Cotto for his fights during the division known as the welterweight division. Mainly, the argument that is given by some of the people is that he fought Joshua Clottey at 146. So he couldn't be weight drained to fight Manny Pacquiao at 145. And I'm going to show you Miguel Cotto never made 145 pounds ever in the welterweight division. In fact, I'm going to show you very easily that after Miguel Cotto fought Manny Pacquiao, he moved up in weight to fight Yuri Foreman for the WBA super welterweight title. Now, Miguel Cotto actually was in the welterweight division, and his first welterweight opponent was Carlos Quintana at the end of 2006, December the 2nd, and that's when he first entered the division. And his last fight in the division was against Manny Pacquiao in 2009. So the end of 2006 to the end of 2009, roughly about 3 years he stayed in the welterweight division. That makes sense because he's a big boy. Miguel Cotto, even in the junior welterweight division, also known as super lightweight division, he was a big boy. And one of the things that really gives Miguel Cotto advantage against his opponents and why he could have knocked them out and hurt them was his size. Miguel Cotto on fight night never was weighed unofficially. And one of the reasons is Miguel Cotto's probably coming in even at junior welterweight on fight night at close to 160 pounds. And as he moved up in divisions, it was harder for him to make weight because he'd come in bigger and bigger. But let's look at Miguel Cotto's tenure or his stay at welterweight. Remember, Manny Pacquiao is his last fight at welterweight. Campaigned for 3 years, and he had 8 fights at welterweight. So we're going to check this out. Carlos Quintana. What was Miguel Cotto's weight just moving up from junior welterweight to welterweight? Okay, so this is the information BoxRec gives. There's the welterweight fight. This is the card, the entire set of cards here. And Miguel Cotto he makes the weight very easily. 146 to Carlos Quintana's 147. Showing us that Miguel Cotto moving up from junior welterweight to welterweight is a big boy. Okay? He's a big boy. Notice, throughout his welterweight career until Manny Pacquiao, he never goes below this weight. That's a very important point. This is his first stint at welterweight. He comes in 146 pounds. He then goes on to fight Ukte Urkel. On fighting Ukte Urkel, Miguel Cotto comes in at 147 pounds. He's maxed out. Just imagine what he is on fight night. He then fights Zab Judah. He comes in fighting Zab Judah at 146.5 pounds. You remember the picture? I said 147 pounds, but I was wrong. He came in at 146.5 pounds against Shane Mosley. He comes in at 146.25 pounds. Mosley, the same thing. Those guys balloon up to 165 plus pounds in the fight. Then fights Alfonso Gomez. Comes into the fight 146.5 pounds. And Alfonso Gomez 147. Antonio Margarito comes into the fight 147 pounds, so does Antonio Margarito. Michael Jennings comes into the fight 147 pounds, Michael Jennings 146.5. Do you notice the weight is going up? Then he fights Joshua Clottey in a lackluster performance, but because he was the title holder, I gave him to retain the belt. He comes in at 146 pounds, the same weight he came into the division with. So he, for the first time, he repeats coming at 146 pounds, gives a lackluster performance. We thought Joshua Clottey won that fight. And then his last fight against Manny Pacquiao. And for the first time in the division, he comes in having to make 145 pounds. Now here's the thing. He makes 145 pounds, but as you can see from pictures, previous videos, and even the video that I just showed you, he's much less bulky. There's a big difference between 146 pounds and 145 pounds. That 1 pound is like serious. Miguel Cotto never made that weight at welterweight. He never did. So he put stress on his body, just like Canelo Alvarez versus Floyd Mayweather, to get that extra pound in, that 152. And Canelo came in blue. After he fights Manny Pacquiao, we see the evidence that he was weight drained. Because he comes in against Yuri Foreman in a higher weight class, super welterweight, also known as junior middleweight, light middleweight, at 153.5 pounds. Significantly higher. This is why I said Miguel Cotto, he actually lost 9 pounds, because he was basically at that point in time when he fought Manny Pacquiao already a super welterweight. This fight occurred half a year after the Manny Pacquiao fight. Cotto generally fight twice a year, so half a year after. So obviously Miguel Cotto, he was a big boy when fighting Manny Pacquiao. And you can go ahead and look at the other fights above: Ricardo Mayorga, Antonio Margarito, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Austin Trout, Delvin Rodriguez, and Sergio Martínez if you want. You'll see that he's always 150, I think it's 153 to 154 pounds he's campaigning at, until Sergio Martínez, where he was 155, showing he maxed out at a middleweight, because he's right now the middleweight title holder. So Miguel Cotto has always been a big boy, and my point being that those people who say he wasn't weight drained, you just have to look at his fights and look to see how he was getting bigger and bigger each fight. And you can see also that his performances when you cut down on his weight. And clearly the strategy was to pull him down a pound or so less than he's comfortable at trying to make, because he couldn't even make 146 properly. So it meant therefore that Miguel Cotto, this is his last fight at welterweight, which tells you his body's growing into super welterweight. And again, I don't just say that Miguel Cotto was weight drained. I give a parallel with Canelo Alvarez. He was weight drained against Floyd Mayweather. Canelo Alvarez was a huge junior middleweight, and Floyd made him go down an extra pound below, 2 pounds actually below the junior middleweight limit. So Canelo came in blue. Alright, so it's not just Manny Pacquiao and the fight with Manny Pacquiao that's happened. This has happened a lot of times in history, but I just totally hate catch weights. I hate it. And in those two instances I just mentioned, it favored the smaller fighter, because the bigger fighter had to kill themselves to make weight, putting stress on their body. And so again, Floyd Mayweather, he performed brilliantly against Canelo, and so did Manny Pacquiao against Cotto. I take nothing away from them for their performances, but they will always have that blemish because of catch weight. That's what I'm saying.